A blatant abuse of power and a threat to democracy. A federal judge scolding Michigan's former House Speaker this afternoon as she sentenced him for a bribery scheme. News 8's Byron Tollefson was there as he learned his fate. He's in studio now with how much time he'll spend in prison.
Brian, federal judge Jane Beckering told former House Speaker Rick Johnson that he exploited his power, tore at the very fabric of democracy, and she hopes his sentencing sends a message. Michigan's former House Speaker sentenced to 4.5 years in prison for a bribery scheme that a judge called an unfettered abuse of power.
And today's sentence sends a very strong message that public corruption will not be tolerated in the state of Michigan.
Rick Johnson, Speaker between 2001 and 2004, became chair of the state's former medical marijuana licensing board in May of 2017. The 5-member board reviewed and approved applications to grow and sell medical marijuana.
He injected corruption into an emerging, promising new industry where getting a head start could make all the difference.
In his nearly 2 years in charge before the board was dismantled, prosecutors say Johnson took at least 38 cash bribes, accepting more than $110,000, plus benefits like private charter, airfare, meals, and thousands of dollars worth of commercial sex with a sex worker, in return promising multiple companies an unfair advantage in the application process, helping them get ahead and leaking confidential information.
But when a public official takes that power and uses it to enrich themselves, they violate that sacred trust and they threaten our democratic health itself. And that's what happened here.
3 other people have been charged in the scheme, including lobbyists who called Johnson Batman when talking to him through his burner cell phone.
He built an elaborate system to conceal these bribes that included burner phones, multiple LLCs, and cover stories.
Prosecutors say Johnson denied wrongdoing twice until he finally came clean in December of last year. He pleaded guilty this April. Today, Johnson calls himself a corrupt politician and said he made the biggest mistake of his life. His attorney asked for just over a year behind bars, while the judge ultimately agreed to 55 months. The U.S. attorney says that's still far more than most cases, with the average sentence last year being 23 months.
So what you saw today for this type of offense is well above what the national average is for bribery, and overall, we're pleased with the sentence. We think it sends a very strong message.
Johnson also received 2 years of supervised release and will have to pay a $50,000 fine plus forfeit an additional $110,000.